Get the opportunity to go to a new nursery or something, you see they have a bonsai section, but you're not sure if you are faced with multiple trees, which one is the best one to choose for a future bonsai. So the first step I like to do is you need to decide what you need in your collection. So you need to go out there and you need to say, okay, I really want a group or a forest, so I have to select multiple trees that will work together. Or you might want a certain species, like I've been wanting a tamboti forever. You can ask Anthea, tamboti voor and achter, and eventually I got one, okay? So you need to have like a goal to work towards. Or you can look at your collection and see, wow, I just have informal uprights. I would like a cascade, or a semi-cascade, or a windswept. So it just gives you some direction, because what happened to me, I absolutely adore a broom style and silhouette shaped bonsais, and that's literally all I have. So it tends to limit your experience and everything a bit. So a collection needs to vary, because that's how you grow. You need multiple things. Look, you can always have the bonsai that you love, but somewhere you need to work on a cascade or a informal upright or something, just to broaden your horizons. Because even the techniques that you pick up on certain styles help you to perfect your other styles. Okay, so keep an open mind. And also, it depends on what you're going to look for. Like sometimes you just need cuttings for grafting roots or stuff. So you might go to a nursery physically just looking for certain cuttings, which is fine. I mean, bonsai is from Yamadori till everything, so it depends on what you are going out to look for. Alright, so the second step, and this is the step a lot of us skip because we are addicts. Money. You need a budget. So you need to decide, like, if you are starting out and you want to experiment, please don't buy an expensive tree. I've made these mistakes, and then you experiment on the tree and it dies. And you still end up maybe owing on the tree, so please don't do that. It also helps you to guide where to find your stock. Like we people, you know, like if you want to buy a dress and you have this certain budget, you're going to go and look at maybe Edgar's, but you're going to avoid Queen's Park because that's too expensive. So you need to have the same perspective with bonsai. That you can say, okay, I can find reasonable stock at this price, at this place, that's not going to break my bank. Okay, so keep that in mind, please. And then also, yeah, it's like I said, it depends on your goal. If you want a finished tree by an artist or something, jy gaan moes vir hom. Jy gaan betaal. But it depends. Do you want an already finished tree, or do you want something that's like completely nursery stock from scratch? Alright, so that's also going to depend on your price range. Because when you look at these guys, you can get reasonable good stock, bonsai material, for a lot less. Where if you go to a bonsai nursery and they have already been pre-styled and everything, you're going to start to pay for labor. Because I mean, it takes, we know here, it takes hours and hours to completely prep a beautiful bonsai for initial styling. And artists like to be rewarded for their job, so you're going to pay up. Then the other thing is, okay, so now you have an idea of what you want and how much you can spend on it. Now you need to decide where to go. In Pretoria, unfortunately, we are a bit limited. We don't have, but actually, we are limited, but we are also fortunate compared to other provinces in those places. Yes, they might have better places to date, but when it comes to retail, we tend to have more retail areas to go to. So you basically have bonsai nurseries like Anthony and them. They are retail, but they specialize in bonsai. Those are scarce. I think we have about 3 in Gauteng.
Yeah,
3 or 4. Yeah. So it's not much. When you look at, so you basically have a decision. You can go retail nursery, like your normal nurseries, Plantland, Safari, those places. You can go bonsai nursery, which is more specialized, or you can go and dig a tree. So let's just look at the pros and cons there. A retail nursery tends to put a bonsai price label on a bonsai. What I mean by that is they tend to be more expensive for what you actually get out. Retail nurseries tend to take ground stock like this, they'll cut it here and there, la la la, bonsai $300, bump. Where if you go to a more specialized bonsai nursery, you might get something also for $300, but at least you'll have a nice trunk to start with. You might have some movement in your trunk. Because what these, remember, a retail nursery gets stock from another place and they just want to sell it and make profit as fast as possible. Where a bonsai nursery, Anthony would take his cuttings and he would start training his cuttings already, get some movement in them, get some branch selection. So it depends. If you want to go, how can I say, the difficult way and train yourself, you can go to retail, buy something that's not pre-style, that's a complete bush, and try and do it on your own. If you want something that's already a little bit further, I would suggest rather going to a bonsai nursery. Because the thing is with retail nursery, you might get a bush, you can get something that works, but you're going to need a lot more skill. And these guys don't spend as much effort and time on fertilizing and all those things. Where if you go to a place like Anthony's and Willow Bonsai, then you're going to get something that the roots have already been worked on. It's in the right ground, you're going to have fine root ramification, all that. So those are just things. It depends completely on what you're looking for. Yamadori, I'm not an expert. I don't like digging trees because it's just too much effort. And the ones I take out always dies because I like small things, and small things dies if you don't take them out properly. So, but like Anthony, those guys, some of you guys, Bruce, you've been on decks. Josh absolutely goes nuts on a deck. He'll kill himself trying to drag out a tree somewhere.
I just telling me now.
So the nice thing about Yamadori is you're going to get something that's formed by nature already. You're going to get so much more character in a smaller tree version than you would get in a nursery. A nursery goes for young bonsai stock. You're going to struggle to get something in a nursery that's 20 or 30 years old because it's not going to sit that long on the shelf. So digging is awesome, but please just remember, get permission from the landowner before you dig, and if you make a hole, close it up before somebody loses an ankle or a knee or something. Alright, so that's just on digging. Alright, so now you've been at the nursery, you have a budget, you know what you want. Now you have 5 or 6 focuses in front of you, or focuses. You said focuses. Now you need to focus. So I like, a thing that always appeals to me is I need to like a certain bonsai. I don't know, I believe in this thing. A thing eats on you, it bugs you. You know, you'll go to a certain shop, you'll see this bag or something, and you'll go around walking and drinking coffee and your mind goes back to that certain thing. So I like to do that with bonsai as well. Like there's one here in the nursery that's bugging me, but it's breaking the bank now. So bonsai after all needs to be enjoyed. It's a hobby, so don't buy a tree you don't like. Just because somebody said, no, you need a juniper in your collection. Or, no. If you don't like it, don't buy it. What's the point? You're not going to want to work on it. You're not going to want to experiment on it. So buy things you like. If it has pink flowers and you like the pink flowers, buy it. Okay? So at the end you need to enjoy it, and it needs to give you emotion. A tree needs to make you feel sad because it's a windswept. It's like hardship. It needs to make you feel like, oh, I'm in the tropical jungle because it's a ficus. You need to feel good about your tree. So go on that gut. Gut feeling works, guys. With bonsai, a gut feeling works. Because if you like it, there's already something in your mind that clicked. And you already, even if you don't realize it, you already saw where the bonsai can go. Alright. It talks to you. There we go, Jackie. So that's first step for me. Okay, second step. This happened to Jock recently. If you go to a nursery, check your tree health, guys. Because believe me, it's terrible taking a tree home and oh, it's my pretty new tree, and it's pest and disease all over 2 weeks later. Alright, so please check your trees. Look at the tree from all sides. Because what happens in nurseries sometimes, they're all in rows. Okay? like Kathy and those people, Kathy is in Randburg, Magic Bonsai, right? Bonsai Magic, there we go. They would rotate their trees sometimes. So 1 week a tree would stand like this, the next week a tree would stand like that, to get multiple sun exposure, to build a canopy. Retail nurseries tend to put them in a row, sun from this side. So you might get branches on this side, nothing at the back. So when you go to the nursery, take your tree, you're going to be like a little aapie. Jy gaan vir hom uitkyk van alle kante af. Normally it's very funny because when I go to a nursery, they'll always ask to assist you, and then they must follow you like a little sterkie, okay? And then they will ask, and then you'll go like this, and you're like, oh, it's a pretty tree. And you'll look at the tree, and you look at the tree. And later on, these guys are standing like, what do you want to do with the tree? And you'll just go like, bonsai. Oh, you bonsai! So, yes guys, look at your trees from all sides. Make sure it's got enough branches for you to actually use to build the canopy you would like to build. Alright. The other thing is leaves. Leaves tell you a lot about a tree. Like sun damage. Like these of Kai are beautiful. I don't know what you do with them. You live in Harties, one of the hottest places, but they're gorgeous. So look at your leaves. Look at the bottom of your leaves, because that's where pest normally hides. Aphids, spider mites, whitefly, all those guys. Okay. So look at the tree, make sure it's healthy. If it has like sunburn, 10 to 1 somewhere the tree went through a drought, and it might be suffering. If you pay a lot of money for it, you might lose that tree because something's wrong somewhere. Okay. Trunk line. This is so basically when I go, I look at a tree from all sides, make sure I like the tree. That is what I want. The second, if I have like 2 trees, like this for instance, both of them are nice, both of them are awesome species, they have multiple selections. This one has a little bit less branches than this one, but we can work with that. Then I'll tend to look at my trunk line, because as I showed to you guys there, movement. First of all, I like a clear trunk line. I'll break stuff off in a nursery. I'll look at a tree. I even grabbed this one of Kai this morning. I said to him, please can we just remove like all the growth from the trunk line so I can actually see what you have to work with. So if you have those little things in the nursery, nice trunk line. They're not going to use them anyway if it's bonsai stock, I mean really. So yeah, just don't go breaking all big branches, seriously. Alright, so then look at your trunk line. Look where it's going, if it's inviting, if it's coming towards you, if it has some movement, you don't want a stocky. You're going to struggle with a stocky, unless you want to form an upright. But then you need multiple branches to work with. Okay, so think about your style, look where you are going towards. Okay, then just to show you something, taper versus thickness. My dad, for instance, he would say, oh, hierdie is so mooi. Kyk hoe dik is hy al. It has thickness to it. It's a nice bonsai. Yeah. It's dead straight. Yes. Trunk splitting is an option if you're advanced. If you're just starting out and you want to experiment with trunk splitting, yes. Then you go for something like this. If you want to not bother with a trunk or you're scared to touch a trunk, go for something like this. Okay. So it depends on what you want to experiment with. Alright. So just to show you guys the impact taper has on a tree versus thickness. These circles are exactly the same size. They start at exactly the same height. They stop at the same height. Just to show you guys what I mean by a lollipop tree. You can have thickness, but it's going to look weird. Immediately if you go to taper, you get a more visually pleasing aesthetic towards the eye. Okay, so that's what we mean by taper. It needs to go from thick to thin. Then you already have age and structure in your bonsai. Even if it's dead straight, if you just have a thicker base to work with, going smaller, it's already better than just balling. Okay, so we're getting to the last one. This is roots. Now Jock told me a story this morning. I like to do something in a nursery. If the bag is not too heavy, look, you don't want to rip the tree out of the bag. But you just take a tree like this and you just go like, it has roots. It's like what happened to him. They put all these beautiful bags. They chop off a tree in the back. You're like, oh wow, beautiful tree, beautiful leaves to the top. And then you get home 2 weeks later. Why did the tree die? And then if you start scratching, it's like, oh, no roots. So that happens, guys. It's happened to me as well. I told Jock I bought this beautiful little blowhawk thorn tree. This tiny little cute thing with this canopy and Mickey and all is very sweet. Bought it, took it home, and I saw the plastic is disintegrating. That's why I thought it was in the plastic for long. So it should be fine. They just recycled their plastics. 3 weeks later my tree was morted, and I tried everything. And eventually when I started looking, it had, like the roots were rotted off completely. Because the soil wasn't draining. No roots. So please check your roots, because the roots are the heart of a bonsai. It gives life. If there's no roots, no tree. Okay. So check for waterlogged, especially when you go to bonsai nurseries that buy up stock, that resell collections or stuff like that. What I mean by waterlogged, you'll see the surface of the bonsai. It looks like clay. You can just imagine if you put a droplet of water there, it's going to stay right there. It's not going to go down. 10 to 1, if you are waterlogged, you are root bound as well. That's what I mean by root bound. There's no more space for the roots to grow. What happens if your bonsai gets root bound, it's going to start pulling up its feet. There's a name for it. I don't know if it's like surface crawlers or surface feet, something like that. There's a specific name for it. But it starts pushing up, and what it also does is it starts circulating around your pot. The thing with this is it makes it difficult for you later on to work on the roots, because you want to get a nice spread root system, and spread root system means spread canopy. It will bud easier all around the trunk line because the feeding is going towards those areas. Okay, so you want a nice root system, otherwise you're going to struggle later on with something like that. And the acacias and those guys like doing this. They like that. So watch out for that. Because later on when you try to get it into a ceramic pot, you might have a finished bonsai, but you have to work for 1 or 2 seasons still on the roots before you can get it into a pot. What I always like to do is I'll just dig a little bit. And I'll say, okay, there's a root going, there's something going. Just to see what you have in there. Okay. And also a root base. If you're looking at trees and you have to decide between two, normally if you have taper, you'll have a little bit better root base on the one guy. Because the thing, taper versus root base, you can create an illusion that a thing has a better root base because it has thicker taper. We did one presentation last year on it. If your eye sees a thicker tree at the bottom, your brain automatically thinks root base. So you're actually cheating somebody that might be scoring your bonsai. Just say, looks better. Okay. Even if it doesn't really have a root base versus its taper. Okay, so that's the other thing you can look at. But a root base is nice. If you have a good root base to start with, you can always work on the rest of the tree. Because you get root grafting and options like that. I'm not as experienced with root grafting and stuff like that. So for me it's still daunting. So I would like to choose a tree that has a bit more root versus growing roots on a tree. For me it's still a scary thing. Okay. So that brings us to the end. So yes, look at your tree when you go to the nursery. Focal impact. Like your tree. Look at a healthy tree. No pests, nice leaves, no damage, no harsh sun, anything like that. It just gives your tree a better chance of survival if you spend money on it. Because at the end of the day, nobody of us likes losing money. And a bonsai is a type of investment you make for the future. Because most of our bonsais will unfortunately outlast us if we look after them properly. And the trunk line, remember your movement and taper. And then a good root base if you can find one. And that's it. That's like a crash course to getting a nice bonsai from a nursery.